The story begins with a man who is a skilled and dangerous assassin. He hides inside an old warehouse, sitting calmly on a chair, completely prepared to eliminate his target. All day long, he keeps his eyes fixed on the target's house through the window, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. 5 days pass without a single sighting of his target. So, pretending to go grocery shopping, he finally steps outside. After buying the groceries, he calls his boss and reports everything. The boss impatiently tells him to finish the job quickly and collect his payment. Hearing this, the assassin assures him that the mission will be completed soon. Before heading back, he sits quietly in front of the target's house, carefully observing every person and guard nearby. After memorizing their daily routine, he returns to his hiding place and resumes his watch. He sets up his rifle, positions the scope, and waits patiently for the target's arrival. As night falls, he brushes his teeth and lies down to rest. Every 10 minutes, the sound of the clock wakes him, and he checks the target's house again. Suddenly, he hears a noise and sees his target arriving with a woman dancer. He immediately picks up his gun and starts tracking the target through the scope. The target, unaware of the danger, begins to dance and laugh with the woman. The assassin decides to fire the moment the target sits on the sofa, but just as he pulls the trigger, the woman moves in front of the target. The bullet hits her instead, killing her instantly. The assassin quickly tries to fire again, but the guards shut the window and his shot misses. Realizing the mission has failed, he hides his weapon in a sack, wipes away any traces, and flees the scene. He escapes on an electric scooter, tossing random objects along the road to mislead the police. After a short distance, he abandons the scooter and continues on foot. As he walks, he throws his helmet into the river to destroy evidence. He enters the bathroom of a grocery store, cleans his face, trims his beard, and changes his clothes. He even wipes the bathroom clean, making sure to leave no fingerprints or clues behind. Then he orders a car and heads straight to the airport. Upon arrival, he throws his gun into a trash bin and joins the line to buy a plane ticket. While waiting, he notices a police dog staring directly at him. Panicking, he leaves the line and returns to the bathroom to calm down and clean himself once more. He comes back out, uses a fake identity under the name Felix Anger, and finally secures a visa. Just as he is about to board the plane, his employer calls. The voice on the other end is furious, shouting, "What have you done?" The assassin stays silent, hangs up the call, smashes his phone, and boards the plane. During the flight, he notices a suspicious man watching him. When the plane landed, he immediately bought another ticket under a different name. But to his surprise, the same mysterious man was waiting again at the terminal. Sensing danger, he decided to delay his travel plans until the next day. He checked into a hotel, set a trap on the door, and waited through the night with a knife in his hand, ready to strike. But nothing happened. The entire night passed in silence. No one came. The next day, he boarded a plane and returned to his home country, the Dominican Republic. Upon arriving home, he noticed fresh shoe prints and a lit cigarette near the gate. His suspicions were immediately confirmed. Someone had broken in. Without wasting a second, he grabbed his gun and rushed inside the house. There, he saw bloodstains on the floor and realized that an attack had taken place. Panicking, he called his girlfriend. When she finally answered the phone, he rushed to the hospital. There he found his girlfriend lying unconscious in a coma, with his brother sitting beside her. His brother explained everything. 2 assassins, a man and a woman, had broken into their home. Their real target was him, but when they couldn't find him, they attacked his girlfriend instead. She fought back bravely and somehow managed to survive, though she was gravely injured. Before passing out, she saw the assassins escaping in a green-roofed taxi. Understanding the entire situation, the assassin decided to stay at the hospital that night to protect her. A few hours later, his girlfriend woke up weakly and told him everything. "They tied me up and tortured me," she said softly. "They wanted information about you. I endured the pain, but I didn't tell them anything." Hearing this, his heart filled with rage and sorrow. He silently vowed to take revenge. That same night, he returned home and unlocked his secret weapon box. The next morning, he began searching the entire city for the green roof taxi his girlfriend mentioned. After a full day of driving through crowded streets, he found nothing, so he decided to try another approach. Late that night, he broke into the taxi company's office and captured the manager. He forced him to log into their system and track tracked down the driver who had picked up the two assassins. After obtaining the driver's details, he took the file and left. The next day, he waited near the taxi station, watching closely. As soon as the driver arrived for work, he followed him quietly and got into his cab, pretending to be a regular passenger. The poor driver had no idea he was carrying a deadly assassin in his back seat. After a few minutes, the driver looked in the mirror to ask a question and froze when he saw the gun pointed at him. Thinking it was just a robbery, he quickly handed over his wallet. But the assassin wasn't interested in money. He coldly asked, "Where did you drop those two passengers off?" Terrified, the driver began explaining everything. "I picked them up from a private airport," he said nervously. "Then I dropped them at a house. I waited outside for a while. When they came back, both were injured. I didn't ask anything," he added. "After that, I drove them back to the same private airport. That's all I know." Then he hesitated and recalled one more detail. "When they came out, the man's leg was bleeding badly," he said in fear. "But I didn't ask anything. They looked like ordinary adults who simply went to and from the airport. Sir, please don't kill me. I only dropped them off at the airport. It's not my fault," the driver pleaded. The killer replied, "Take me to a secluded place." The driver stammered, "I'll tell you everything. Don't kill me." Suddenly, the killer shot him and walked away. The killer then created a new identity and used it to buy a plane ticket to New Orleans to hunt the two assassins who had hurt his girlfriend. Upon arriving in New Orleans, he rented a bus, visited a secret storage unit, and retrieved several guns and a forged ID card. He changed the bus's license plate and took a job at a cleaning company to gain access to restricted sites. After registering, he received a uniform and cleaning supplies. He decided to use the cleaner cover to get inside his target's workplace. While waiting outside the building, he learned that a staff pass was required to enter. When a cargo truck arrived, he seized the opportunity. He wheeled his trash bin toward the gate, pretending it was too heavy to lift. The delivery man took pity and placed his pass on the gate, even helping with the elevator so the man could get in. Once inside, the killer acted like a cleaner until the delivery man left. Then he retrieved his gun and slipped into his boss's office. There, he found the owner's secretary and forced her to tie him up at gunpoint. He threatened to kill her unless she revealed everything about the two assassins. Terrified, the owner stammered, "I had nothing to do with this. I swear," he explained, that an angry client had complained because a job wasn't completed, and that client must have sent the goons. "They attacked your girlfriend because they couldn't find you," the owner added. He begged the killer to change his identity and disappear for years, so the client couldn't find him. The killer ignored the warning and picked up a nail gun lying nearby. He smashed the laptop screen with it and glared at the owner. "If you don't tell me everything, you'll be next," he snarled. The owner, stunned and terrified, insisted he had told the truth and begged him to leave. Enraged, the killer suddenly drove nails into the owner's chest, killing him. He grabbed the owner's phone and demanded, "Tell me who those two people were and where they came from, or you'll die." Before any useful information could be given, the old man died. Frustrated and ruthless, the killer decided to silence the secretary as well to avoid leaving witnesses. But the secretary quickly realized his intentions and offered a deal. She said, "I know you won't let me live, but hide my body where my family can easily find it, so they can at least claim the life insurance money. I will tell you who the killers are if my children receive the payout." The killer considered her proposal and agreed. He untied her and left her alive for the moment. Then he wrapped the owner's body and shoved it into a trash bin. After cleaning the office, he followed the secretary as she drove him home. During the drive, she begged for her life and promised to do whatever he wanted. When they reached her garage, she tried to scream and run, hoping someone would hear, but no one came. The killer forced the garage open and dragged her inside. There, the secretary revealed the names and showed him a postcard that named the person who had ordered the attack. After getting the information he needed, he snapped her neck and shoved her down the stairs to make the death look like an accident. He then burned his handler's body in a storage unit and scattered the ashes from a bridge so no trace would remain. No one suspected him that night. He thoroughly cleaned the bus, disposed of the fake license plate, and returned the vehicle to the rental company the next day. Then he flew back to Florida Florida to hunt the two killers who had tortured his girlfriend. He decided to find the male killer first. He watched the man's house carefully and noticed several men outside playing with the dog. One of them limped slightly, a detail he recognized. He waited outside the house all day for the right moment. In the evening, he followed the group to a casino and kept them under observation. Around midnight, he returned to the house and waited. When the male killer arrived alone, the assassin put his plan into motion. The dog barked as he approached, so he fed it something laced with a sedative to make it sleep. Once the dog was down, he slipped into the house. The killer, however, had expected trouble and attacked him. A brutal fight broke out. They exchanged blows until the attacker was near overpowering him and drew a gun. But the assassin had already anticipated this and hidden in another room. He taunted, "John, I know your real name. Come, finish this and destroy the evidence." John, who had seen his face earlier, moved toward the room. The assassin seized the moment, grabbed the gun through the door, and fired, killing John. Hearing the gunshot, the dog woke and ran to its owner's aid. But the killer had already left the house and locked the dog in the garage. He lit a petrol bomb and hurled it toward the house. The building caught fire, and a massive explosion followed. He then set his sights on Teresa, the woman involved in torturing his girlfriend. He boarded a flight to New York using a false identity. After landing, he rented a car and drove to Teresa's neighborhood. He waited outside her house all day for the right moment. That night, he watched Teresa leave for an expensive restaurant with a man. When the man left, the killer entered the restaurant and confronted her. Teresa recognized him and knew he had come to kill her. She ordered a very expensive drink and admitted, "I acted on a client's orders. I have no personal grudge against you or your girlfriend. I was against the torture. My intention was to end this quickly. When you weren't found, my partner went so far." Even after hearing this, the killer said, "I won't let you go." He led her to a deserted park to decide her fate. As they descended the stairs, Teresa slipped and reached out for help. The killer did not take her hand and instead shot her, and her body fell down the stairs. Teresa had a knife hidden and might have attacked at any moment, but she did not. The killer left the park immediately and caught a flight to Chicago to hunt the client who had ordered the hit. After researching the man, he discovered the client was extremely wealthy, which made a direct hit difficult. So, he started watching the client's house and routines. When the client drove out of the garage, the killer pretended to be a pedestrian and tried to get into the garage. He found the house door locked and photographed the lock to study it later. He ordered a special cloning device to bypass the lock. Next, he transferred his funds to an overseas account under the name Jefferson to cover his tracks. He bought a gun from a local dealer, and when the cloning device arrived, booked a gym session on the client's floor. He stole a worker's pass from a cleaner and made a copy. Using the fake keycard, he entered the building and reached the client's door. The client did not recognize him and asked, "Who are you? How did you get in?" The killer produced the postcard the secretary had given him, which named the person who had hired the hit. Seeing the postcard, the client suddenly remembered the failed job. The client protested, "I have nothing to do with this. When your mission failed, I accepted the loss. Humans make mistakes, but your handler didn't see it that way." He told the client, "No, sir. This is the killer's fault. He failed the mission. He deserves punishment." The handler then demanded another $1,500 to finish the job, to kill you and destroy all remaining evidence. That's when the truth became clear. It wasn't the client who wanted him dead. It was his own handler. The handler had orchestrated the entire plan out of fear. He knew that if the killer stayed alive, the police might trace everything back to him. So to save himself, he turned against the very man who once worked for him. The client swore he had no role in sending those two assassins. After listening carefully, the killer finally believed him. But before leaving, he warned the client never to mention his name to anyone. The frightened client agreed without hesitation. The killer then returned to the Dominican Republic to start over. He took care of his girlfriend, who had recovered from her injuries. He abandoned his dark past and began living a quiet, peaceful life, far away from blood and revenge.